Hi, Jonathan. How's it going? Good to see you. Good morning, dear. Welcome to our class. We're almost over. It's unit 11. Okay, good. So today, May 25th, we're going to do unit 11, page 72, language practice. Okay, the topic of our lesson is going to be the third conditional. Very important. So let's take a look at our book there. Here you are. Can you see the book? Can you see the book now? Let me try to make it a little bigger so you can see better. Yes, good. Is it clear now? Yes? Okay. So let's see. The third conditional we use to talk about hypothetical ideas in the past. Okay, something that really happened in a different way, but we are imagining, oh, what if? Okay, so for example, if you had invented it, what would you have done? Next one, if I had invented it, I could have made a lot of money. I probably wouldn't have done anything if I'd had the idea. Or if I had received that as a gift, I would have returned it. Hi, Amanda. Good morning. Good to see you. Welcome. So, the next ones, I wouldn't have made fun of it if I'd known it was this useful. Hi, dear. Good to see you. Good morning. If she hadn't been an inventor, she might have been an artist. And then here they explain the abbreviation, or when we connect I plus had, it becomes I'd. Okay, here. All right, people. So from the first look here, how can we understand this verb tense, the third conditional? First of all, we are talking about something hypothetical, something that really didn't happen, but we imagine if it had happened. We kind of start thinking, imagine, like for example, if I had invented this object, I could have made a lot of money. Did I invent the object? No, I didn't. Did I make a lot of money? No. But if I had invented, oh, I could have made a lot of money. So it's a hypothetical idea, okay? To help you understand better, I have an image here. Let me try to share this image with you. Okay. Can you see this image about the third conditional? Yes? Let me try to make it a little bigger for you to visualize better. Let me try to, yeah, it doesn't get any bigger. So, okay, no problem, guys. So let's see here. The third conditional, we use that to talk about past, hypothetical, or unreal situations. Okay, very important. So first, we have an if clause or an if sentence. That's the condition, okay? If a condition had existed, comma, the result would have been true. So we have a conditional clause and then we have a main clause. The main clause is the result, okay? If something had happened, what would have been the possible result? Okay, oh, for example, Last weekend, Flamengo was the champion here in Rio, right? In the karaoke championship. I don't know if you saw or heard about it. I didn't watch the game, but I heard the news. Okay. I'm not Flamengo, I'm Fluminense. So my team lost. Okay. So that's all right. I'm used to that. So let's imagine a different situation. Okay. Let's imagine, for example, that Fluminense won the game. So let's imagine if Fluminense had won the game on Saturday, it would have been, or they would have been, let's put they, because we're referring to a team of players, right? So they would have been the champion or the champions, okay? Because Fluminense lost, but let's imagine a different situation. If Fluminense had won the game on Saturday, they would have been, or they would have become the champions, okay? But it was not what happened. Hi, Jayani. Good morning. What happened on Saturday was different. The other team won, okay? So, but we are thinking in a hypothetical situation in the past. Okay, Amanda. Okay, Jonathan. Imagine if Fluminense had won the game, they would have been the champions, but they didn't, all right? So the result was different. Okay, guys, that's the idea of the third conditional when we talk about hypothetical situations in the past. Okay, so here we have the structure. In the if clause, okay, we use the past perfect, right? And in the main clause of the result, we use a modal verb, would, could, or might, plus the auxiliary verb have, plus the past participle of the main verb. In this case here, I used the verb to be. So, being. Okay? Example, if you had come to class, you would have passed the exam. If you had come to class, you would have passed the exam. Did you come to class? No. Imagine, suppose last week there was a test, okay? Imagine. And 2 classes before, you didn't come to class. You didn't attend the review, okay? You missed the review. So we can say, oh, if you had come to class, you would have passed the exam. You didn't come to class and you didn't pass the exam, okay? Next one. If he hadn't been wearing a helmet, he might have died. So if he hadn't been wearing a helmet, he might have died. So was he wearing a helmet? Yes, fortunately, he was wearing. Did he die? No, he didn't. So we are just imagining a hypothetical situation. Oh, imagine if he hadn't been wearing a helmet, he might have died. Okay. Another one. He might have died if he hadn't been wearing a helmet. So it's just the same sentence here, but in a different sequence. Okay. We have the result first, and then we have the conditional sentence. When we put the result first here, the main clause first, we don't need to use a comma, okay? So in this case here, we are beginning with the result. He might have died if he hadn't been wearing a helmet. okay? So for example, I don't know if you remember now in the news, we saw the death of a famous, I think, MC, right? A boy, he was only like 24 years old, I think, I'm not so sure. He was a young boy and he died because he fell from a balcony. Yeah, in a hotel in Baja. I don't know if you heard about it, was MC Kevin, right? Yes. So what can we say using the same idea here about his death? Let's imagine a different situation. Let's imagine that, let's see the possibility that he didn't die, he didn't suffer the accident. So, what can we say? If he hadn't, what is something that probably a situation that was different about his case? What can we say? First of all, before we make the sentences, let me make it bigger. Before we create the sentences, let's put what happened, okay? So he used drugs and drank alcohol, okay? This is something that happened, okay? Another thing he did, another thing he did, uh, another thing he did is um, his friends didn't help him. This is another fact, okay, that contributed to his accident, all right? So first, he used drugs and drank alcohol, but then that's okay. A lot of people do that and don't fall from a building. So this was one point. The other point, his friends didn't help him, right? So here I'm talking about, let me clear this one. I'm talking about this guy who died last week. His name was MC Cave, okay? Just to use the idea of the third conditional, okay? So first, look what happened, okay? Okay, so now let's create a sentence now. Let's imagine something different happened and he didn't die. Let's imagine this possibility. So let's go there. If he hadn't used drugs, look, he used drugs, but let's imagine a different situation. If he hadn't used drugs or drank, if he hadn't drunk, actually the past part's full of drink, if he hadn't used drugs or drank alcohol, comma, he wouldn't have died. Because when everything happened, if he hadn't used drugs or alcohol, he wouldn't have tried to jump from one balcony to another. He would have stayed where he was, or he would try a different thing because he would be, more sober, right? But at the moment the accident happened, he was under the effects of some drugs and alcohol. So he wasn't really sober. Okay? So if he hadn't used drugs or drunk alcohol, he wouldn't have died or he wouldn't have jumped. Okay? Another situation here. Let's imagine his friends. Okay? So this one goes here. This one is about the situation. The second fact, his friends didn't help him. His friends didn't help him, right? They basically provoked what happened. Okay, so let me see another example. If his friends, let's imagine a different situation. If his friends had helped him, he probably wouldn't have died. Okay, if his friends had helped him, he wouldn't have died probably because they wouldn't have permitted him to feel anxious about the arrival of his wife. Okay, but unfortunately, his friends, they encouraged him to escape in a hurry, right? Because they said, "Oh, look, your wife is coming. Your wife is coming. So get out of here. Get out of here." So that situation urged him to jump from the balcony, and he was under the effects of some chemicals, so he didn't have all his reflex. He didn't have uh, the right mind to measure the distance from one balcony to the other, and even to think that it was possible to do that. It was not really possible, it was dangerous, right? But at the moment, he couldn't really calculate the danger that it was jumping from one balcony to another. Okay, so his friends didn't help him. Then, if his friends had helped him, he wouldn't have died. If his friends had just told him, okay, okay, or hadn't invented this situation that his wife was coming, he wouldn't have died. All right, guys, so this is the third conditional. It's when we talk about hypothetical situations in the past, okay? But that really didn't happen because unfortunately, he used drugs and drank alcohol, and also, on top of that, his friends didn't help him, okay? This is what really happened, okay? So in the simple past, we talk about what happened in the past. The third conditional, we talk about hypothetical situations in the past, a different outcome. All right, people? Good. Now let's go back to our book. Okay, can you see our book page again? Yes? Good. So here we have the examples using the inventions because this lesson, Unit 11, talks about inventions, okay? So that's why we have examples based on that. If you had invented it, what would you have done? Okay, another one. If I had invented it, I could have made a lot of money, right? Or I probably wouldn't have done anything if I'd had the idea. The next one, if I had received that as a gift, I would have returned it. And now in the negative, I wouldn't have made fun of it if I'd known it was this useful. If she hadn't been an inventor, she might have been an artist. Okay, guys. So as you can see, when I start the sentence with the conditional clause, I have to use the comma to separate the clauses. Look, okay? Here too, look. If I had invented, comma, the next one with the conditional sentence in the beginning, I put the comma. Here too, the last one. If she hadn't been the inventor, comma, right? Now, the other examples, they start with the result. So we don't need to use a comma. The if clause is the second part. So here, look, I probably wouldn't have done anything if I had the idea, so no comma, right? And here the same. Okay, guys. All right, so let's see here a little bit of the structure, okay? Before we do the first exercise, let's see the structure again, all right? So you know exactly how to use the verbs. So let me just get a picture here to show you the structure. Here in this picture, we have some other examples. Let me try to make it a little bigger. Yes, I think now it's okay. Let me share the page. Okay, can you see that, guys? Yes, we have some other examples here, and I will use these examples to show you the structure. So all of the examples here start with the conditional sentence, okay? If you had studied more, you would have passed your exams. Okay, so this is the first example. And here, I'm just saying that you didn't study more, you didn't study enough, and you didn't pass your exams. Okay, these are the facts. You didn't study and you didn't pass. But now I'm making a comment. I'm just saying, oh, if you had studied more, you would have passed your exams. So this is a hypothetical situation. Let's see the structure, okay? First, we use here, if we start with the conditional sentence, we use the particle if. After that, what do we have here? The subject, okay? After the subject, what do we have here in red? The verb. What tense is this verb here? Past perfect. Okay. Past perfect because we use the auxiliary had or hadn't and the verb in the past participle. Okay. So let's put here had. Let's put just had plus past participle. So this is the formula or the structure of the first sentence, okay? If plus subject. Hi, Nayara, good morning. If plus subject plus had plus the verb in the past participle. I can also use here the negative, okay? This is also possible, like we have here in the second example. If we hadn't missed the bus, okay? So this is the first structure. Okay, let me put it here. Okay. Now, the second structure, what is the second structure? We have modal here, would, wouldn't, would again. So in the three examples we have, they are using the modal verb would, but I can also use could or might, okay? So let's see there. The second part, what is the structure? We have, before the modal, we have another subject, right? You, we, I, right? So first we have subject plus the modal verb. Okay, let's put would. Here, guys, I can also use could or might, okay? But I'm going to use only that to give you the example. Then after that, what do we have? Look, have passed, have been, have helped. So we need to use the auxiliary verb have plus, which verb tense is that? Actually, which verb form is that? Being, helped, past. For regular verbs, we add ed, but irregular verbs, they have their own way. So this is the past participle again, okay? Okay, here we go. This is the formula we have for a third conditional sentence or a third conditional situation, okay? The first part, the conditional clause, this is the structure, and this is the result clause. Okay, guys? So conditional, result. Sometimes I can invert the position. I can start with the result, and then after I can say the conditional. But if I start with the conditional clause, I have to separate the sentences or the clauses with a comma, okay? Like here, look, okay? So if we hadn't missed the bus, we wouldn't have been late. Did we miss the bus? Yes, we did, unfortunately. Were we late? Yes, we were late. But let's imagine a different situation. If we hadn't missed the bus, we wouldn't have been late. Okay? And then next one. If I had known you needed help, I would have helped you. So did I know you needed help? No, I didn't know. Did I help you? No, I didn't. Okay, guys. So, but if the things were different, everything would have a different result. So if I had known you needed help, I would have helped you. Okay, guys? Yes? So if you want, you can, let me save this. If you want, you can take a picture, okay? So you know the structure of both clauses, the conditional clause and the result, okay? Can I clear my annotations? Yes? Good. Very good. So let me just clear here. Oh, sorry. Let me go back to the book. Now let's do the exercises, okay? Let's see there. Number 1, read the sentences. Mark the statements true or false, okay? Let's see the first one. Can everybody see the page? Yes? Can you see it? Good. Number 1, if I had known about the appliance, I would have tried to get one. Again, if I had known about the appliance, I would have tried to get one. Appliance, guys, is the same as eletrodoméstico in Portuguese, okay? So a fridge is an appliance, a microwave is an appliance, all right? So if I had known about the appliance, I would have tried to get one. So here, the first one, I knew about the appliance. Is it true? No, I didn't know about the appliance. So this is false. Okay. And the next one, I didn't try to get one. So is it true? Yes, that's true. I didn't try to get one because I didn't know about it. But if I knew, I would have tried to get one. But unfortunately, I didn't know anything about it. Okay, so here I'm just talking about a different situation, and exactly, I didn't try to get one. That's false. I mean, that's true. I didn't try to get one. Okay, and that happened because I didn't know about it. So how could I get one if I didn't even know about it? So no, I didn't try to get one. That's true. Okay, guys. So try to do the other ones, 2, 3, and 4, and then we correct. Okay, before you start, let me take a picture here of the participants. So let me try to. Okay. All right, guys. So I will give you, now it's 11:11, so I'll give you 4 minutes, 4 minutes to do that. 2, 3, and 4. That's quite a long time, right? So until 11:15. All right? So then we check together. Go ahead. Okay, guys, can we correct? Yes, it's 15. So let's say number 2. If he hadn't read the report, he wouldn't have bought a hybrid car. If he hadn't read the report, he wouldn't have bought a hybrid car. So, letter A, he read the report. Is it true or false? What do you think? Here we can see it's negative, right? So it's imagining here a hypothetical situation. So what really happened is the opposite of what is here. So if he hadn't read the report means that he read. Okay, so that's true. Okay. Now here, he wouldn't have bought a hybrid car. So here it's negative, isn't it, guys? So if it's negative, it means that what really happened is in the affirmative. I mean, here. So he bought a hybrid car in reality, okay? He read the report and he bought. So here, letter B, he didn't buy a hybrid car. This is not true. This is false. Okay. So let's try to do it in a better way so you can understand. When we see a sentence like this, a hypothetical situation, we have to see, is it negative or affirmative? So the first sentence here, let me highlight for you. The first sentence is negative, okay? Hadn't read. The second one is also negative, okay? So for us to understand what really happened, we have to change the situation here from negative to affirmative. So what is the first thing that happened? He didn't read or he read the report? Here it's in the negative. So what is the real fact? What really happened? First, he, let's put the number 1 here. First, he read the report. So this is the first fact. In reality, he read the report, okay? Now, the second fact, what really happened? He wouldn't have bought a hybrid car. This is the hypothetical situation. So in reality, he bought a hybrid car. So it's the opposite of what is here. So he bought a hybrid car. These are the two facts. This is what actually happened, okay? He read the report and he bought a hybrid car. So let's see here. Number one, he read the report. True. Number two, he didn't buy a hybrid car. No, it's false. He bought, okay? Let's see the first one. Let's analyze the first one. If I had known about the appliance, I would have tried to get one. So let's see what really happened. First, let's see the sentence. Is the first sentence affirmative or negative? Okay, affirmative. Okay. And the second one, is it affirmative or negative? Affirmative again. So look, okay? I'm going to separate affirmative and negative using the different colors, green and orange, so you can understand, okay? Now, when I use a third conditional sentence with two sentences in the affirmative form, is because in reality, the contrary happened, okay? It's always the contrary, like here, negative, negative, affirmative, affirmative, okay? This is the real fact. These are the real facts. Here, affirmative, affirmative. So what really happened has to be negative, negative, okay? So let's see the first fact. Number one, I had known about the appliance. So what is the negative here in the past? Excuse me. I did. Sorry, guys. I didn't know about the appliance. So the first fact is I didn't know. It's the opposite of here, okay? The second fact, I would have tried to get one. So the verb here is try in the past. Here it's affirmative. So I have to say in the negative. What really happened? I didn't try, sorry guys, to get one. Okay, so the first fact, I didn't know. The second fact, I didn't try to get one. This is what happened. So letter A, I knew about the appliance. Is it true? Sorry, guys. It's false because he didn't know. Letter B, I didn't try to get one. Ah, okay, this is true. This is what really happened, okay? Now, let's see number 3. You wouldn't have broken the gadget if you'd known how to use it. So let's see the first one. Is it affirmative or negative? That's very easy. Negative. Okay, so let's see there. And the second one, if you'd known how to use it, affirmative or negative? Okay, affirmative. Good. So here we have two situations, one negative, one affirmative, okay? All right, people. So let's see. The first fact, what really happened? It's the opposite of what is here. So you wouldn't have broken. So the verb is the verb break in the simple past. So did you break the gadget? Yes. So I have to use now in affirmative, right? So the first one, you broke the You broke the vase. It's the affirmative of this situation here. Here it's negative, so you have to put affirmative. So first, you broke the vase. Now number 2, if you had known how to use it, if you'd known how to use it. So here it's affirmative. I have to use now this verb in the negative, simple past. So you didn't know how to use it. Let's see now the sentences. The first one, you broke the gadget. Okay, I put vase, but it's a gadget, not a vase. Sorry. Okay, so the first one, you broke the gadget. True or false? True. So let's put there. And letter B, you knew how to use it. True or false? False. Okay. Actually, you didn't know how to use it. These are the facts, okay? Now the next one. If we hadn't encouraged her, she might not have sold her invention. So let's see the first one. Is it affirmative or negative? Okay, negative. So let's put here, hadn't encouraged. And the second one, might not have sold her invention. Affirmative or negative? Negative again. Okay. So we have 2 sentences in the negative. Now, let's see what really happened. The opposite of this. So what really happened is in the affirmative form. So let's see the first one. What really happened? Encouraged in the past. We encouraged. We encouraged her. This is the first fact. In fact, this is what happened. We encouraged her. Okay. The next one. The verb here is the verb to sell. Okay. Here it's in the past participle. But then we have to use that in the simple past. Here it's in the negative. So we have to use in the affirmative. So the subject is she because of here. Okay. And now the simple past of sell is also sold. So she sold her invention. So in reality, this is what happened. We encouraged her and she sold her invention. Okay, now let's see here in the exercise. Letter A, she sold her invention. Yes, that's true. So let's mark that. Actually, this is what happened. Okay, and we encouraged her. Yes, very good. True again. Okay, guys, both correct here. Okay, so back to the situation of the singer who died. Let me create the same idea for you. Okay, guys, here using the same line of thought. Is everything okay here, guys? I put in orange the examples of negative sentences, and in green, I put the affirmative sentences, just for you to understand the exercise, okay? But the idea of the third conditional is, in a nutshell, to talk about hypothetical situations in the past, something that didn't happen. All these sentences here, 1, 2, 3, and 4, they didn't happen. I'm just imagining a different situation. So this is how I do it, okay? I change the facts and then I create hypothetical situations. Oh, I didn't know, but if I had known, I didn't try to get one. So if I had known about the appliance, I would have tried to get one. Okay. All right. Here in number 2, he read the report and he bought a hybrid car. So he read and he bought. If he hadn't read the report, he wouldn't have bought a hybrid car. This is a hypothetical situation. I'm imagining a different situation, but this is what really happened. Number 3, you broke the gadget and you didn't know how to use it. So if you wouldn't have broken the gadget if you'd known how to use it. I can also say it the other way around. If you'd known how to use it, you wouldn't have broken the gadget. Okay? And the last one, we encouraged her and she sold her invention. Now let's imagine a different thing. If we hadn't encouraged her, she might not have sold her invention. Okay? Here, they are using a different modal. Instead of using would, like in the other sentences, they are using might. It's another possibility, okay? All right, guys, did you take a picture? Let me save this. Okay. Okay, can I clear the annotations? Yes? Good. So let's move down a little bit more and let's say here, complete the statements with your own ideas. So here we have some examples to personalize the idea of third conditional. If I had studied harder, what can I say here? The situation is you didn't study hard enough. This is the real situation. But imagine if you had studied harder, what would have happened? Actually, if I had studied harder, I would have passed my exams. Here, guys, there is no preposition between the verb pass and my exams, okay? We don't use a preposition with this verb like in Portuguese, okay? So I would have passed my exams if I had studied harder. I can also change the position, or if I start with the conditional, I put a comma, okay? So if I had studied harder, I would have passed my exams. Did I pass my exams? No, I didn't pass. Did I study hard enough? No, I didn't. Okay. Number 2, if texting hadn't been invented, imagine our lives today without texting. Texting is text messages, okay? So if texting hadn't been invented, what would have happened? So let's put here in my opinion, this is what would have happened. If texting hadn't been invented, they would have found another way. Okay? So, did they find another way? No, it wasn't necessary because texting was invented. Okay? So, here we are just imagining a hypothetical situation in case texting hadn't been invented. Let's see the next one. If I hadn't gotten a last year, what would have happened? So here, usually when I say get something like this, get, we can refer to, you can get a code, or you can also get a prize, okay? So let's create a sentence for this. If I hadn't gotten a, let's imagine here, a code. This is something very simple. We get a code every year. If I hadn't gotten the code last year, hypothetical situation. I wouldn't have been worried. COVID. Worried is the same as preoccupied, okay? So let me try to, yes. In reality, I got a cold last year and I became worried. I was worried about COVID when I got a cold, okay? If I hadn't gotten a cold last year, I wouldn't have been worried about COVID. But since last year we were in a pandemic, when I got a cold, I was worried about COVID, right? That was my first thought. But if I hadn't gotten a cold, I wouldn't have been worried. Okay, guys. The last one. Our grandparents' lives would have been easier if, what do you think would have been easier for your grandparents in the past if they had something, maybe computer? Okay, all right. So our grandparents' lives would have been easier if they, or if computers had existed before or had been invented before. Okay. Okay. So let's imagine the situation. Imagine computers were invented when our grandparents were alive. Imagine. So here I'm talking about a different situation, a hypothetical situation, right? Because we know that computers weren't here when our grandparents were alive. Computers hadn't been invented, actually. Okay, so computers were not invented. when our grandparents were here. But I'm imagining, hypothetical, our grandparents' lives would have been easier if computers had been invented before. Okay, so this is another possibility, but in reality, our grandparents' lives were not easy and computers were not invented before. Okay, so here we have an example of the first one. If I had studied harder, I might have become a famous inventor. This is another possibility. Okay, guys. So in the result sentence, I can use modal verbs like I can use would or might, or I can also use could. Okay. These are the most common modal verbs I can use to talk about possible results. Okay? So if I had studied harder, what are the possible results? Oh, I might have become a famous inventor. Did I become a famous inventor? No, I didn't. Did I study harder? No, I didn't. But if I had, I might have become. All right, people, okay? Can I clear the annotations? Okay, let's clear. All right. So here, guys, we have just a small pronunciation tip, right? Changing syllable stress. This is only to show you how we can change the syllable stress when we change a word from a verb to an adjective and a noun, right? We transform the words using suffixes or prefixes to change the part of speech of a word. So here we have verb, adjective, and noun. So example, the verb here is adapt. Adapt. So the stress is on the second syllable. Now here, when I transform that into an adjective, it becomes adaptable. Adaptable. And as a noun, it becomes adaptation. Adaptation. So you see how the stress changes, right? Adapt, adaptable, adaptation. Here we have the verb innovate. Innovate. As an adjective, innovative. 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 And as a noun, innovation. Innovation. Okay. Oh, right here, the stress should be here, innovative. Okay. But anyway, there is a change in the stress according to the part of speech. Okay. With all the other words, it happens something similar. Okay. Usually the same. Okay, guys, let me minimize this here. Okay. And just a little bit. All right. Let's take a look, guys, at our page on Google Classroom so we know what to do for homework. What did we learn today? Basically, we talked about the third conditional. We saw the structure and the idea, okay? So the third conditional we form with a conditional sentence and a result sentence, or conditional clause and result clause. The conditional clause has the particle if plus auxiliary verb had or hadn't and the past participle. The result clause has the subject plus a modal verb, would, could, or might, and the verb, auxiliary verb have, and the main verb in the past participle. Okay? That's how we talk about hypothetical ideas in the past. Things that didn't happen that way, but we are imagining, oh, what if? Like when we talk about this singer who died so early, right? He was so young. He was only 20 something. He died because he fell from a balcony. That was so shocking. So if he hadn't used drugs or drunk alcohol, he wouldn't have died. Okay? If his friends had helped him, he wouldn't have tried to jump from a balcony. Okay? If his friends had helped him, he wouldn't have tried to jump. But unfortunately, this is not what happened. His friends didn't help him, and he tried to jump and accidentally fell. Okay? So let's take a look here at our page on Google Classroom with the homework for next week. Okay, guys, I didn't post here, but I will, right? So today we did page 72, language practice, and the homework for today is student book, page 135, online practice, unit 11, grammar 1, 2, and 3. Try to do that. That's really good and helpful, and this will help you practice more the third conditional. And here, there is something extra for you. Okay, I put the images I showed you in class, and here we have the worksheet. Okay, guys, here two worksheets to do for exercise. All right, so thank you very much for coming. Thank you, Diane. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Amanda. Thank you, Nayara. Hope to see you again on Thursday. Okay? Take care. Have a nice day, guys. Bye bye. See you. Bye, guys.